We are
NASCAR Amino
live!
podcast. Woo!
Alright, let me get
Heck yeah.
here. Copy. Put this up on the Amino.
I just got a notification from it.
Heck yeah. It worked.
Yeah, this is my last night of fun before school tomorrow. Yeah.
I got 2 more days and then school starts for me at least.
Lucky.
Starts Wednesday, man, and then.
I gotta get up at like 6:30 tomorrow.
Oh, jeez. Well, wait a minute. Oh, that's just you.
School starts at 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it starts at 8. You know, Central Time. So I don't know how time zones work. So,
Who starts school
like 7
at
o'clock
7?
and 8 o'clock.
That just sucks.
What?
7 to 2. That's our school hours.
Actually, that's not bad.
Yeesh. Our school
I would
hours.
prefer to get out of school.
Our school hours are 8 to
Yeah,
3:30. That's our school hours.
Alright, we are here. Hello, everyone. First of all, mic check. Can everyone hear me in the chat? I know these guys can hear me, which I'm sure they'd rather not, but
Wish I could mute you.
We could make a joke here, but I'm just not gonna. Yeah.
Alright. Chat can hear me. Alright, hello everyone.
Good.
Welcome to the 17th episode of the NASCAR Amino podcast. We are joined by the Bacon Thief, Seth Peters.
Hello.
The only Kyle Busch fan in existence, Caleb Marinelli.
Hello. I'm in eternal pain.
And the most nervous William Byron fan in a sea of nervous William Byron fans, Tanner Campos.
Daytona is going to be pure nervousness at its finest.
Alright. I am the most frustrated Alex Bowman fan in existence, Zach Stern. I am your host. And before we start, does anyone have any major announcements that they want to bring up before we start about shit that you know the drill at this point?
I'm good.
I guess I have one thing. I did announce in the NASM's Epic Return chat that my AC kind of went out. It's being kind of fixed right now. We're getting something figured out. So I should be continuing filming tomorrow because I do have school tomorrow. So at some point in the afternoon, I will continue filming it finally. But yeah, that's really the only update I have.
Alright, so my announcement is that me and Caleb and Nick Nelson are going to be commentating Dover tomorrow. We expect a Tuesday release. So
dang.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, Mikey.
So anyway, we're gonna start with we're gonna review the month of August for NASCAR. Okay, so I need to remember. I am big dumb, and I need to remember the first.
Well, we stopped watching at we stopped.
I think it was around Texas, I believe, for the All-Star race.
Texas was the last one, I believe.
Yeah,
we
went over
Texas was the last. I mean, Kansas was the.
We haven't reviewed Kansas yet.
Yeah, so was Kansas. Kansas was the.
Oh, jeez, I might have forgotten about it at this point.
Kansas on forward.
Jeez.
Yeah, Kansas and on forward is basically.
All right, so we're gonna start with Kansas. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
That race was obviously Denny Hamlin claimed his 5th win of the season at Kansas.
That's right.
We're gonna start with Seth on his thoughts on the race.
Well, the race was fine, as far as I can remember. I missed a bit of it though. Besides that, yeah, I thought the race was fun. Ryan Preece almost died. That was You know what I can't. You know. Basically, all I can really say about it. It wasn't really that important when it comes down to it. Hamlin won again. Woo, I guess. Byron was close, though. That's about it.
Caleb?
Caleb.
Oh man. Overall, I don't remember too much of the race. Mainly the fact that Byron was real close to winning that. Unfortunately, didn't get that done. Denny Hamlin won it, and we saw once again at Kansas just the continuous trend of absolutely hellacious wrecks with Ryan Preece. My God. Glad he's okay from that. That's one of the craziest wrecks I've seen of the season. Definitely got some Newman throwbacks from that, flashbacks from that, and just kind of a wreck fest. There was a lot going on in that. Just a lot of craziness. Kind of typical Kansas race. Yeah.
Kansas was an okay race. There were some good moments. The first few opening stages of the race was kind of wreck fest, including the Priest wreck, the most notable moment of the race, and it looked like Byron was going to possibly get that first victory with the substitute crew chief in Keith Rodden. But I mean, at least he came away with a good day in 10th. But the Harvick and Hamlin show is basically in full effect during that time, and Hamlin just came out of nowhere and took another victory away from the field. Thought it was going to be a different winner. So, Zach, what's your opinion on it?
Well, first of all, the fact that was a Thursday race that had basically no build-up whatsoever was absolutely stupid as hell. I mean, what did you think the ratings for that race were going to be when you put it on a Thursday, when you left Sunday completely open, by the way? There was literally no race on Sunday. You don't advertise it. You put it on NBC. You put it on NBCSN. Nobody knows when this race is starting. And then, oh my God, I'm shocked. The midweek race obviously doesn't work. No, you didn't advertise it correctly. There's a lot that NBC has been doing wrong. We're gonna get to that later. But as far as the racing itself, it started out pretty bad, I think, and as usual with this package, as it got later and cooler, the racing got a lot better. And it started as in the beginning of the race, it was outside line was dominant. The faster you could get up there, the better you were. And then as the race went on, it kind of turned into more of a multi-groove, actual decent track. It was the race anyone could win, and of course I got my gut wrenched when Alex Bowman had his chance, and then Kevin Harvick took it away, and then my spirits got momentarily lifted when Kevin Harvick got it taken away, and then they got lowered again when I realized it was Denny Hamlin taking it away, and I was like, God damn, worst top three in existence. Anyway, we're gonna move on to New Hampshire. Seth, what was your reaction to that race?
Well, the only thing I did forget about Kansas was that everything of the fall meant to did it, but besides that, yeah. New Hampshire, this race, it was alright. John Hunter Nemechek started to wreck a bunch after this race. Eric Jones wasn't as good as he was. This was also in the middle of Eric Almirola's long streak of top tens, which was pretty awesome. And Brad basically was pretty good. It was Brad and Denny the entire day. Both of them were incredible. And honestly, one of them was going to win. And surprisingly enough, they're top two. Otherwise, besides that, the race was pretty good. I enjoyed it. For New Hampshire standards. Caleb?
It was definitely Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski's show. The race itself, it was decent. Again, like Seth said, for New Hampshire standards, it was okay. But if you're talking in terms of a normal NASCAR race, it really wasn't that enjoyable. But I mean, we saw a little bit happen. Obviously, Almirola's little streak that he had going on there for a bit. Nemechek just wrecking all over the place, but really not that memorable of a race. I mean, I'm glad we saw someone like Keselowski win and not just Hamlin or Harvick. That was kind of pretty cool to see, but overall, not really, not a race to write home about. Just kind of move on to the next week with that one. I didn't find it the most exciting or enjoyable race to sit down and watch. Tanner?
New Hampshire was okay. And I'm glad someone finally challenged Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski flat out gave him a challenge for the win, which is great. Now knowing that the big two can be challenged for the win, but the race in general was just okay. There was not really that much competitive moments. It was only once when they got during the early stages of the green flag run, but once it came all together, Brad Keselowski pulled away and sealed up his third win of the season in a contract later on. So Zach, you have a different side of the story of New Hampshire.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I do. I was at New Hampshire. Unfortunately, my camera's not working, so my thing's not working, so I can't show pictures. And I was a bit of a dumbass and didn't put them on my computer, so I couldn't put them on the screen. But I mean, I didn't really take much pictures anyway. The actual experience of the race, it was very, very limited. There was one merchandise hauler for a driver, and guess who it was? Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick?
Wow.
Oh, if it was Kevin Harvick, dude, no, I think Kevin Harvick might have been the first one they scratched off, because there's literally not one person in existence who's a Kevin Harvick fan. Caleb's like, excuse me. Okay. Actually, before I forget this, before I move on, Seth, John Hunter Nemechek's thing with wrecking actually started in Kansas, where he took away Bowman's chance to win by being an absolute dumbass. Anyway, moving on.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on, we gotta remember that Matt Kenseth always joined that competition too.
Oh yes, Matt Kenseth at New Hampshire. That was
oh my god!
Good lord!
That was hilariously bad.
It was painful because I like Matt Kenseth.
I felt so bad.
We have a guest.
Like,
ladies and gentlemen, Jared Holmes is popping in.
No. Whoever has their TV up, turn it down a little bit. You can hear it a lot on stream.
I think that's mine. There we go. Sorry about that. Have the Indy 500 replay on. Thanks, Jared.
Anyway, thank you, Jared, for that. Anyway, Matt Kenseth wrecking 3 times was a meme. The first time I thought, oh
my god,
that sucks for Kenseth, and then he did it the second time, and I was like, must be just, I don't know what that. And then the third time, it's like, Matt Kenseth, just get off the track already, and he did, which was pro gamer move. A lot of what you probably missed on TV, because I haven't gone back and watched a replay of the race, because I really have no reason to. There was a lot of back and forth going on in that race. Like a lot of times like the announcers bring up that, like, with the 2019 package, that there's a lot of back and forth, and we especially saw that at, like, Chicagoland, where, like, Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman were so even that they, like, swapped the lead 2 or 3 times before Bowman eventually won. This was happening at New Hampshire too, with the low downforce. Keselowski and Denny Hamlin would swap the lead 3 or 4 or 5 times, and then further back in the field it would happen as well. And there was an instance of it happening with Bowman and Cole Custer. I think it happened a bit with. I think it happened a few times with Byron. It happened a few times with. It definitely happened a lot with Denny Hamlin. Kevin Harvick, unfortunately passed a lot of cars, which kind of sucked. But anyway, I was happy to see Brad win. That was a very welcome change. There was the second time I've seen Brad win live, like at the track. That was really fun. That was a fun race, and I'm very glad I went. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next weekend, which, can I just forget this weekend ever happened? It was
Snooze Fest.
It was
bad.
Michigan. Oh god.
Oh, good lord.
This again.
Okay,
can we just summarize this?
Okay, just go.
Michigan 1 and 2. Here we go, baby. First off, it started out. The first race was actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. Stage 1 was I'm joking. This race was garbage. Truex started out and then actually came back from like a flat tire on like lap 3 and came back for a third place finish. A few drivers did fine. I thought some of them had at least decent performances, like Bubba finished 9th. And it was actually Kyle Busch looked good, but he kind of got screwed over by a move pulled by. I forgot who pulled that move on Kyle. I think it was Kevin when.
Who do you
Kyle
think it was?
Yeah, it was Kevin. Yeah. It's hard to remember. The race was so bad. But yeah. Kevin honestly dominated it in his Apple Busch Light car. And then it was like, whoa, it's like I watched the exact same thing again. Because that's exactly what happened the next time. Except this time Eric Almirola did good. And Kevin Harvick won again. And Truex finished 3rd. Gosh dang it, Mikey. Yeah, the Michigan races are forgettable. Honestly, let's just move past them. Caleb, any thoughts?
There was a trend there with Truex that we're going to talk about later. Now,
Oh yeah, we've got to. Oh man, Michigan was an absolute joke from top to bottom. It was really predictable. We remember Kevin Harvick. He's basically just been the king of Michigan the past few years. It's basically his new Phoenix now. Now that there's actual drivers competing for the win at that track, he's just completely taken over Michigan. So this weekend was predictable, and like we knew was going to happen, he swept the weekend. Kyle Busch had a shot there in the first race, but Kevin took the air off of him, got him into the wall. That just kind of ended it. Few comers and goers during the weekend. We had Almirola have a really good run. Obviously, Truex really started that, continued that trend of amazing finishes, just not being able to get the win. But overall, just disappointing. Michigan has, I think, solidified itself, at least on my list, as one of the worst tracks in the Cup Series. It sucks when you know exactly who's going to win. The main reason is just because you can't pass the leader. As soon as Harvick gets up there to the lead, you're not going to be able to pass him. That's one reason it wasn't enjoyable, because you could have drivers get up there, but they weren't going to get by Harvick. He just absolutely dominated the weekend and just continued. And it's frustrating when you have Harvick as probably the most boring driver in the Cup Series, and just sweeps this weekend that we kind of had hopes for, because it's cool to see these doubleheaders. But it sucks when you put these doubleheaders at boring tracks like this, to where nothing happens. You know that during the first race, nothing happened, so then you just know, even like today, that the same thing's going to happen the next day on Sunday. And that's what's frustrating about all of it. But I'm just going to move on from this one. Tanner?
Michigan, it didn't really live up to anyone's expectations. Let's be for real. That's Kevin Harvick's playground by a mile. And the JGR duo tried their best. Kyle tried in race 1 but got moved. Hamlin and Truex tried to give their best shots in race 2, and neither one of them could pass him. It's just Harvick's playground at its best. And also another thing, Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski actually had Harvick defeated until they took each other out. We got to remember that.
Forgot to point that out. Yeah, I completely forgot. But
I did remember.
The doubleheader for Michigan was just a major letdown. But the only positive from it is the choose roll. The only good thing, it helped give Bubba Wallace an opportunity to get a top 10. The choose roll is definitely the only positive thing for Michigan. Zach,
right,
what's your opinion on it?
Before we go on, Fireball said that 99% of the field has no personality and it sucks. Even Jimmy, which, I mean, I don't think that's true. I do think Jimmy has a personality. But
Jimmy actually has.
Jimmy, I don't know.
Not particularly
there are drivers.
It's not particularly expressive, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my thing. Like, Kyle Busch is pretty expressive, not gonna lie, but people hate him because he's too expressive. I don't understand why. Chase Elliott's not expressive whatsoever. Kevin Harvick's boring. Bunch of drivers are boring. At least
Kevin
Joey
Harvick
and Brad
sucks
are
for
easy to
reasons
hate.
beyond his personality.
Who would have thunk?
Karen Harvick. But anyway, I've got something that I'm gonna save for after we do Dover. because
man.
I just think this is so that it's so astounding as to be absolutely ridiculous. But
Oh, damn.
Michigan, the first Michigan race, I think was pretty good actually. There was a lot of
Really?
drama in the last like 40 laps or so. I didn't know Kevin Harvick was going to win until he pulled away on the final restart. Like there was a lot going on, and I kept rooting for like Chase, pick the bottom, Chase, pick the bottom, please pick the bottom, save my sanity. But Chase, for some reason, kept taking the top, and he lost the race. But you only knew Kevin Harvick was going to win at like the very end. It wasn't a guarantee. The Sunday Michigan race, from first from lap 1 to lap 156, you knew it was Kevin Harvick. Denny Hamlin tried to make it interesting, but we all knew who it was. Anyway, from something that was not fun at all to something that was fun but frustrating, let's go to the Daytona Road Course, the first new track we've seen on the Cup schedule since Kentucky was added in 2011. Seth.
I thought, what about the Charlotte Roval, or does that just not count?
Oh yeah. You're right. So,
Yeah.
first new track since 2018.
Yeah, 2 years. Woo! Yeah, I thought the race was fine. Well, actually, no. Actually, it wasn't that great. I thought they could have done way more, but honestly, it felt like the stages were going to play out the exact same thing. Truex would dominate most of it, and then hit before the stage would end. It's basically Sonoma all over again. The strategy from Sonoma. It's coming back. And then Chase would stay out and win. And Boyer actually won a stage for some reason, and I don't even know how he did it, but he did.
Did you watch the same race we did? Because Clint Boyer did not win a stage.
He did not.
Wait, did he?
I'm sorry to burst that bubble.
It was Danny. Sorry. It was
It's
Danny,
okay.
not Clint. Clint was second. That's why. My mistake, sorry. Yeah. Otherwise, besides that, the race was boring. Jimmy was actually decent. And Truex got third again. Huh, I wonder. And, Kaz Growler was decent. As, Austin Dillon got coronavirus. Yeah. Mark McDowell did good, and that's about all I can really say to it, because the race was just kind of Caleb, I know you have a lot to talk about because the second driver wrecked.
Okay. I don't even know if I'll point that out, but the Daytona Road Course. The thing about it is, people say that it was boring, but really, I think we kind of set our expectations too high for it. We expected that just because it was a completely new circuit that the drivers hadn't had any practice on before, which I myself am kind of guilty of this, that it was going to be an absolute crapshoot, an absolute wreck fest. But we got to remember, these are professional drivers that usually adapt pretty quickly. We thought it's not like it was the most difficult course, but we definitely did see drivers making mistakes throughout the race, and that's what made it interesting for the most part. We saw, obviously, Chase Elliott winning it. We saw Harvick spinning out. Just bad luck for a bunch of drivers, including a certain somebody who hasn't really had the greatest 2020. But I'll probably get to that later on. But the race was actually pretty decent. I'd say I'm satisfied with how the race went. Hopefully they'll give them some track time in the future if they do decide to throw this onto the Cup Series schedule for a points-paying race. But I think this is going to be an awesome race under the lights for the Clash next season. So I'm glad we got a little bit of a preview for it.
The Daytona Road Course was actually not that bad overall. There was actually some decently good road racing after basically been away from road course racing for almost 11 months. You gotta realize, these drivers haven't raced on a road course since the Charlotte Roval last August, I believe. But I want to use Seth's point when he saw a Sonoma-type race. I saw a Watkins Glen. I thought it was going to be the Truex and Chase Elliott show. I was kind of looking forward to see those two going at it until Truex had that little miscue and ended up never getting back up to the front. But the racing was definitely better than nothing. It has potential. The Charlotte Roval is an interesting race to have on the schedule, and it has a future in the sport. But for now, it might have to wait a few more years to be added to the Cup Series schedule again. But right now, it has a bright future in the sport. Zach?
Well, none of you addressed the elephant in the room, so I will. NBC's coverage of that race was absolutely an abomination.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the most pathetic coverage of a race ever. I haven't watched the full commentary, so I don't know if it was like. I've heard it was uncharacteristically lifeless. But I mean, but just cutting away to the news, to local
Pathetic.
news after a Cup race, especially such a highly hyped Cup race, and like Chase Elliott crosses the checkered flag, gets a checkered flag, and they're immediately on local news, and it's like no post race, no decompression of any kind, no
point standings, no
point
interviews.
standings, no debriefing. Okay, this is what this race meant. This is what's changed. This is what this race. What does this race mean? None of that happened. We were just left. Chase Elliott won. We didn't even know where anyone finished. Like, we knew Chase Elliott won and Denny Hamlin was second. That's all we knew. But anyway, congrats to Chase Elliott. 3 straight wins on a road course is very impressive. I think he is. Sorry, Seth. Chase Elliott's the best road course racer in NASCAR right now. Like,
I mean,
By
yes,
far.
I do agree with that point. Yeah, 3 wins at the last 3 road courses. That's an undefinable fact. Like,
Bless you.
we can't move
Bless you.
past it. I do agree. Chase Elliott is the best road course racer. Truex is probably number 2, though. I'd say. No.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I still believe that.
Oh, now Zach, didn't something kind of stupid happen specifically in turn 1 on the final lap?
Involving your favorite driver.
Look, I would love to point it out, but considering your driver was involved in it, I'm just gonna let you take it.
okay, this is. I'm probably reacting to this now differently than I would have back then. Oh, who am I kidding? Joey Logano is the biggest dumbass on the freaking planet. What was that move? What was that? He's just like, okay. So Alex Bowman's right in front of me. He's on the bottom. He's already there. I'm just gonna go take him out.
Yeah, road course racing.
Oh crap! What did I have Bubba do? And I ruined a great day. I ruined Bubba's top 10 run by making a stupid move and make a turn 1 of a road course.
Oh, it's great.
I was dumbfounded when I saw that. Like, I knew I was follow. I didn't really get to watch the race at all because I was out on vacation in Maine, and we were driving back to the hotel during the race. So I only got to see an update every lap, and it had Bowman in 8th, and then it had Bowman in 12th, and I was like, okay, he must have just got passed by fresh tires. And then people started talking about a Bowman and Bubba incident, and I'm like, what, did Bubba try to wreck him? I mean, I wouldn't put it above him, given that they have some history. And then, nope, I see the footage. It's Joey Logano being an absolute dumb, and just like, oh. Like, literally, Alex Bowman exists, and Joey Logano goes, that's free real estate. Woo! And Joey gets absolutely no hate. And Joey gets no hate for it. And I'm like, huh? And like, every single post I see gives like 50+% of the blame to Bowman. And I'm like, he got his shit cleaned out. What was he supposed to do? Everyone's mad at him because he's the one that hit Bubba, but he gets ass packed. What's he gonna do? and it's just this was just a really frustrating race. Alex Bowman, he blows a tire on lap 1. Of course, no caution comes out, even though an entire carcass comes out on a raceable groove. I mean, I know it was the apron, but it's still a raceable groove. They didn't have the double yellow line rule. So no caution, even though if Kevin Harvick did the exact same thing, they would have thrown a caution the moment he stepped out sideways from the flat tire. But no, Alex Bowman gets no caution. He gets thrown a lap down. So yeah, that sucked. And then he passes the entire field like 3 or 4 different times. And everyone's gonna be like, oh, he finished 12th. Alex Bowman's like, he's a mad road course racer. Like, if you were actually watching him in that race, you would have been like, holy shit, he's a great road course racer. Because the amount of shit that he had to go through just to get that 12th place finish was insane.
I'd probably say it's okay. He's not, he's not Chase Elliott.
No, he's not Chase Elliott, but he's a lot better than people. But he's a lot better than.
He doesn't get the attention.
Yeah.
He needs more attention on him because he's better than people think he is.
Giving Alex Bowman attention. Well, first of all, I want to talk about this. Martin Truex Jr. 5 straight third-place finishes from Kansas to the Daytona Road Course. He basically got struck by lightning. What do you even say to a run like that?
It's like, people talk about what Cindric's done in Xfinity. That is obviously really impressive, but people don't realize getting that many consistent runs for that many races in a row on the Cup circuit, on the biggest circuit in American motorsport, is absolutely impressive. Like that, if anything, should be getting the same, if not more, attention. Because that is unbelievable. Even Eric Almirola went on a streak similar to that, but even that was only top 5s. This has been top 3s. These have been second and third place finishes consistently. And yes, he should probably have 2 wins by now or so from it. But still, it's just unbelievable, and I don't think people are talking about it enough. Whether you love or hate or don't really care about Martin Truex Jr.
Oh, yeah, and another thing you have to take into effect is that these were on different racetracks. So you first start out on the half a mile of New Hampshire, then you go to the big 2 mile of Michigan twice, and then you go to a Daytona road course, and then you go to Dover twice, and he finishes second twice. Like, honestly. Like, come on.
Martin Truex has just got that luck on us. He's building that consistency perfectly, but it's a shame that he hasn't capitalized on the victory yet. He'll definitely get a win very soon, I believe, because this 19 team is very strong. Because I feel like it's being overlooked now. I kind of feel like he's moving from that round of 12 elimination up to that round of 8, or potentially back into the championship 4 again that people once written him off from earlier.
If he goes on an Almirola run, then I'd say that's definitely not out of the question.
I think he can do it.
With this run, I want to point out that Martin Truex Jr. was for about the first half of the season a 7th to 10th in points driver. Since he's gone on this run, he's moved up to 4th in points, and he now has the 4th best average finish in the series. He is behind only at 11.7 average finish. He is behind only Kevin Harvick's 6.1. Kill me. Denny Hamlin's 9.1.
Oh my God.
Kill me. And Brad Keselowski's 9.7. Nice. I'm sure. Kevin Harvick's talking about needing to prove himself. Like, Kevin, you don't need to prove anything. We all know you're a cheater.
7 wins, and yeah, he gets away with it every time. Darn, I do be cheating again. Here, NASCAR, take this $1 bill. Yeah, there you go. I didn't cheat.
Put it in the pocket.
Do you think NASCAR does that? Like, honestly, if they cheat, they cheat. Honestly, like the fact that they like honestly destroyed Carl Long's team when Carl Long, had a motor just a bit too wide, just an inch bigger, and they're a back marker and they're a starting park, and NASCAR legit fined the crap out of them. I don't think NASCAR's not harsh enough on penalties. And if Harvick's running good, he's running good. It doesn't matter who the driver is. That's my thing. But penalties, at least.
I don't know what it is, but Kevin Harvick, despite having no personality, is one of NASCAR's golden boys. Literally anything that might give him a little bit of a disadvantage is immediately thrown a caution. Like, if a caution helps Kevin Harvick with an issue he has, they throw the caution. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he barely brushes the wall at Chicagoland, and it brings out a caution. He might have.
We can't also forget.
He might have a loose wheel
when the stars align. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I've seen that happen a lot more than other drivers like Alex Bowman. So you kind of got a point there, but it's also the fact that the stars seem to align for him. Indianapolis. I know we all remember Indianapolis. As any Hamlin fans remember Indianapolis. And then obviously, the second Michigan race, just the two fastest cars on the track wrecking each other, allowing Harvick to go by and just win that race. It just the stars have been aligning for him this season. He's also just kind of been the best driver in the field all year.
And I bet how much money do you want to bet that there's like a good portion of the Kevin Harvick fan base that's like, oh, he's so unlucky this season. Like he should
Wouldn't
have
be shocked.
He should have like 15 wins.
We should have a perfect season of top 10s.
Okay, anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the Dover doubleheader now. We're going to start with Seth.
Okay, Dover. Jeez. The first race, that happened yesterday. I'm just trying to think back to it. It started out decent. I felt like the race was okay, but it was... Denny Hamlin started to dominate, but then he actually dominated most of the race, and he eventually won the race, in fact. Truex was a close competitor. Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer were running good. Jimmy Johnson was actually running incredible for, Jimmy Johnson's standards recently. Like, Jimmy went from being 7-time champ to basically running at Casey Kane's speed, and that's tragic. And I'm glad to see him actually have a competitive, at least a competitive race at both Dover races. And, Chase Elliott completely got Dover, too. Oh, boy. The whole thing with Joey Logano wrecking Ricky Stenhouse, which made Kyle Busch check up to avoid the wreck, which made Elliott get damage, which then also made the two Rick Ware racing cars wreck out. I mean, Caleb's got a lot more about the Rick Ware racing cars. I'll leave it to him, but, honestly, just the amount of bull crap that was in that caution was funny.
Okay.
And then not to mention that Harvick basically dominated the race. I mean, there wasn't really much to talk about besides that. And, Matt Benedetto is closer. Byron and Johnson gained so much points that they actually caught up to Matt, therefore making the gap even thinner. Daytona's going to be fun. Caleb, your thoughts on Dover?
Very similar to how Michigan went. This weekend was dull and disappointing all around just for the Cup Series. I feel like, though, what made it a little bit better, we had a lot of storylines going into it. That's what you get when it's you get real down to it toward the end of the regular season. We had William Byron have an absolutely catastrophic day and somehow basically let a 28-point swing happen with Jimmy Johnson, of all people, and fall below the cutoff, but then he kind of got it back here today. But Man, I really thought Truex had that one, that first race, but just the handling was just off toward the end there, and Hamlin was able to get around him and pull off the victory somehow. So once again, War of the Big Two just absolutely dominating this season. But that race definitely wasn't as bad and wasn't as much of an absolute clown fest as today. We have Harvick just kind of... It didn't seem like at first that he was going to be the car to beat, but after a while, probably toward the end of Stage 1 or into Stage 2, it was like, yeah, this is probably going to be the Kevin Harvick show. And that's exactly what it was. There weren't really a lot of people that were able to contend with him. It was cool to see Jimmy get up there for a bit and contend for the lead, but of course, in Jimmy Johnson fashion, he just kind of choked it away, but was still able to salvage a good finish. There's something I want to talk about, though. Actually, two specific things. Number one, I know this is mainly NASCAR, but we got to talk about something that goes beyond NASCAR and goes into another motorsport. Rick Ware Racing. You somehow managed to have your 51 car running in the Indy 500 and in the Cup race. Yeah, you ran in both races, but you know what happens? In both races, not only do you wreck on lap 7, but you also managed to finish last in 2 professional racing races in the exact same day. And at the biggest platform, the Indy 500 and the NASCAR Cup Series. I don't even know where to begin with that. That's just absolutely hilarious. And then another thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let wait for when Zach's done with it so we can point out, we can continue to point out the clown show that is a certain driver that I dislike. Tanner?
Dover won.
Wait, Tanner, before you go. Hey,
okay,
chat,
go ahead,
hey,
Zach.
chat. I want you to type who you think was responsible for the lap 8 wreck, Logano or Stenhouse. I want to see what the response is to this. Okay, Tanner, you can go now.
Okay. Dover 1 was actually slightly better than last year's spring race, but it was mostly the Denny Hamlin show at best. But Truex actually showed that he was actually going to be a threat to the win. He was on the verge of basically sealing up the win until his car started going away, and Hamlin capitalized on Truex's handling issue and basically solidified Hamlin as another threat to the championship, like always. And another situation, the points battle. I basically saw my favorite driver, William Byron, basically have his season flash before his eyes because the car was not at its best, and Jimmy basically coming out with a breakout performance to save his season. And then day 2 at Dover was basically the Kevin Harvick show, but in another twist, Jimmy Johnson has a new life, and basically Cliff Daniels saved his playoff hopes even more with a smart two-tire strategy call that almost won the race. But even though he didn't win, it's still a good day no matter what. He's very close to that points battle between him and Byron, who also rebounded from that day. And Matt Benedetto was basically on the verge of having an epic collapse of epic purport. Well, you know what I'm saying about that. He's basically on the verge of collapsing, and it's beyond shocking. So Daytona is going to be interesting with those 3 drivers leading the storyline heading to what basically will be the regular season finale at Daytona. Zach?
Okay, so first I'm looking at this thing, and the fact that I'm seeing a mix of Logano and Stenhouse is absolutely appalling because 100%, no doubt about it, that lap 8 wreck was completely and with absolutely no exception Joey Logano's fault. Ricky Stenhouse was a bystander to Logano's stupidity. I don't know how Logano managed to do it, but in 3 races he managed to make turn himself from a driver that I actually liked into Kevin Harvick levels of hate. I don't know how he did that. 3 races, top 10 favorite to number 2 least favorite. Holy crap!
Gotta love it, Joseph.
How do you be that?
Keep going,
stupid?
Joseph.
How are you that stupid? Trying to win races.
Okay, yeah.
Trying to win races from 10th, taking out Ricky Stenhouse because he knows he's not going to get any of the blame for it because everyone hates Stenhouse. God damn it!
Mile track racing.
And then, you think I'm gonna be happy with a 5th place finish from Alex Bowman? Oh, you don't know me. You don't know me. Alex Bowman should have won that race, Mikey.
Let's speak about Gregory.
Greg Ives is the most unimaginative, unforward thinking, most scared shitless crew chief I've ever seen. No matter what the situation is with him, it always calls for a pit stop, 4 tires and fuel, and he just doesn't try. He doesn't try anything. He's just like, okay, I know if I try to make a call, I'm gonna fuck it up. So here, I'm gonna just put 4 tires in fuel and hope it doesn't fuck you up too bad, Alex. I mean, it's just crazy. And Cliff Daniels, Jimmy Johnson for the entire second half of the race was 8th to 15th. And Alex Bowman was a top 3 car. He was racing true. He was as fast as Truex at least, if not faster. And Cliff Daniels is willing to make a call. Hey Jimmy, I'm gonna gamble everything to put you in front. Now the ball is in your court. I gave you the lead. Greg Ives' approach is, I'm going to put on 4 tires and fuel and hope beyond hope that somehow, some way you end up being faster than Kevin Harvick on this run. Yay! And that's ridiculous that he ended they need to get Greg Ives out of the crew chief role. He can build a fast car, occasionally, but he's not a good crew chief. He's not a good race strategist. He doesn't try. He doesn't try to do anything. So Bowman, who has the best car from Hendrick, and easily a top 3 car, gets a 5th place finish, which doesn't suck, but it could have been so much better. It could have been a win. And instead, it's Kevin Harvick winning for the 7th goddamn time this season, which absolutely pisses me off. Oh yeah, I haven't even mentioned the first Dover race. That was really fun. I love that finish. I hated that Denny Hamlin won.
Oh yeah, and another thing a lot of people are forgetting. Oh. Yeah.
Alright. So
yeah,
now that thing that I was saving, I'm gonna bring it up now. Okay. Guys, which would you say was the better doubleheader? Michigan or Dover?
Dover.
Oh man.
What about Pocono?
No, I'm talking specifically between Michigan and Dover.
Dover was better. Had more action.
I mean, Dover was less predictable.
Michigan. I'd say
true.
So I'd say that gives it the edge.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement that Dover was the better doubleheader.
Yeah.
I mean, because Michigan,
right.
once Kevin Harvick took the lead, it was over.
So I'm looking at Jake Bassinger's polls from whether the races were good races. Okay, so here's the Saturday Michigan race. I voted that this was a good race. 82% of people agreed with me that it was a good race. I was like, okay, I mean, I thought it was a good race, but I can understand that. So I guess I didn't expect that many people to like it. I mean, it is still Michigan, where the cars string out after 3 laps. And then, was the Sunday race a good race? I said no. 70% of people disagreed and thought it was. Which I don't understand how they could have thought it was a good race. You think that's insane? Let me go to the Dover doubleheader. Was the Saturday Dover race a good race? I said yes. only 37% of people agreed with me. Meaning that this race is being compared to Atlanta in terms of how bad it was.
Yikes.
Is this race anywhere close to being as bad as Atlanta?
No, not by any standards. Atlanta was horrendous.
Okay.
But
Atlanta was awful.
I was actually back when I first watched Atlanta. I thought
you're cutting out
Atlanta
bad.
was okay.
Yeah,
And around oh, I'm cutting out.
Wait, no, it's fixed now, I think.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, sorry. So
It's
my
okay.
thing with Atlanta, and then midsummer, I just thought about, I'm just gonna go through every race and say what happened. And then I reached Atlanta, and I was drawing a blank. What happened that race? It was that boring. And I'm like, holy crap, that race sucked. Jeez, Louise. And Kevin Harvick won it, so yeah, you obviously know that it was gonna suck. There's no denying that. But yeah, Atlanta was bad.
And then for the Sunday Dover race, I also voted that was a good race. Only 39% of people agreed with me. So the Dover races. So while the Michigan races are like top 50, are like being voted top 15 best races, the two Dover races are the second and third least liked races, and I don't understand it. I guess for some reason it's this fixation with like the low downforce package that like, oh, the package is amazing, and if it's not constant 2-3 wide, which there was in both Dover races, then it's a bad race, and I don't understand why these races are so hated. Like people like 37 and 39%. Let me bring up real quick what Atlanta was rated, because it was close to. It was rain delays were voted more enjoyable, and Atlanta was at a 35%. So basically, people are saying that Atlanta was almost as good as these two Dover races, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow. That's a joke. If anything, the only thing that you could even try to compare with these two races is that the two races this weekend did feel a little bit like they dragged on, but the only reason they didn't feel like an eternity was, again, they were like 312-mile races. They weren't as long as a regular Dover race. If it would have been 400 miles, it might have been a bit much, but that's really the only way you can compare it to it. If you're comparing Atlanta to the Dover races, these Dover races were basically like, let's see, like fall Talladega in 2019. Unbelievably good compared to Atlanta. Anything is good compared to Atlanta.
Basically.
Atlanta sucks.
We lost like our entire audience with that rant. Fireball said NASCAR fans can never be satisfied, and that's true, obviously. Although they were inexplicably satisfied by the Michigan races, which you could actually compare to Atlanta, especially the second one in terms of how boring they were.
They will never be satisfied.
And they were won by a born driver.
All right. So with that, we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is, of course, silly season news. Because holy crap, a lot of that crap.
My God.
Out. So the first major bombshell. Eric Jones is out at Joe Gibbs Racing. He is now a free agent for next season, and Christopher Bell moves to the 20. What are your guys' thoughts on that one?
Well, first, you have to remember that this was back before Levine Family. Also, Levine Family Racing is shutting down, if you didn't know, but I'm sure you're not born under a rock, but...
Well, no, that announcement was made after Levine announced that they were shutting down. It was mainly made because of that, because they wanted to keep Bell in the pipeline.
Yeah, So the whole thing, I mean, yeah, it's crappy for Eric Jones, and we can see how this whole, JGR system of drivers works. If you didn't do good enough for your first 2 or 3 years, you're immediately kicked out. I mean, it's not, the greatest system because it screwed over drivers like Daniel Suarez before. Thanks a lot, Carl. But besides that, yeah, seeing Eric Jones gone is sad, but he's my least favorite driver, so get good, scrub. And Eric Jones making at least a decent ride. I would like to see where his career goes, but hopefully it doesn't get screwed over. Caleb, your thoughts on Eric Jones?
The thing with Jones, people say, like, justice for Jones, JGR's system is stupid, stuff like that. I get that, people could be frustrated with JGR, especially the Jones fans, but the bottom line has been, look at Jones compared to his teammates. Last season, his 3 teammates made the championship 4. I'm not saying he has to make the championship 4, but he was out round of 16. You just can't do that. He's been in the series 3 years now. He's been able to rack up 2 wins, or he's been in the series this is his 4th season now, but still, he's only been able to rack up 2 wins. He absolutely dies in the playoffs. He can't get farther than the round of 16, and he's just been disappointing. And Christopher Bell is older, but he's definitely been better. I mean, with Levine Family Racing so far, has definitely not been impressive, but the team has kind of turned around, and they're up there 20th in points right now. Jones has been 18th and 19th in points at times. That's just not acceptable. So at that point, you got to admit, or you got to look at it. If Bell is able to do that, and Levine equipment that, yes, has gotten a lot better, but still, Levine Family Racing, the team that's shutting down at the end of this year, is almost doing as good as Eric Jones in the 20 car that once competed for championships. You have to make some sort of change. And they would have wanted to keep Jones in the pipeline, but obviously Levine shutting down definitely didn't help their case. And they're not just going to throw him in a Gaunt Brothers car because that car can't do anything. So they had to cut ties at some point. The reaction would have been as intense if they would have decided to kick Bell. They really didn't have much of a choice with what they were going to do. So they gave Bell the edge because he has more time to produce, as to where Jones has had his time and has really not been impressive whatsoever. So I think they 100% made the right decision to do it. And also, Bell has that funding around him. He's got Ream coming over. He'll possibly have Procore coming over now that Levine's going to be shutting down. This was the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And Eric Jones, he was basically the Casey Kane of the group. He wasn't, like, legitimately Casey Kane. He actually had potential he had flashes of potential and won races, but he just couldn't have those high expectations like Truex, Hamlin, and Kyle Busch live up to. And I feel like that pressure finally got to him. And once LFR shut down, it was finally time to put the nail in the coffin on Jones. And now he's basically on the verge of an uncertain future. It is disappointing to see him go and shows some flaws in the JGR system, but it was a tough timing for the entire system of the Toyota camp. And with Jones basically being a free agent, the only best landing spot for him is either in a Chevy car, which is basically JTG or Chip Ganassi or Hendrick Motorsports. But it's just a shame that his career is basically now done in the Toyota camp. And Christopher Bell, he's got basically a big shoe to fill, because this is not the same 20 team that Tony Stewart took over. This 20 team has not been the same since that second championship win. And basically, it's basically always been the rebuild team, with the occasional from Matt Kenseth. But the 20 team has basically always been that 4-tier team, and it will always be down there at the same time. But maybe it can change with Bell, but it sucks that Jones had to get the axe because of it. Zach?
It was the right move to make. Jones is look, Jones just has disappointed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no way around it. They put Jones in a car that won multiple races as recently as 2016, and he can only manage a pair of lucky wins. and 2 round of 16 exits. And this season, he's probably not making the chase. That is just. I mean, I know that there's a lot of teams that would kill to have the problems of Joe Gibbs and where, we can't afford to not have a car make the playoffs, but you're in Joe Gibbs Racing equipment. You can't miss the playoffs. You can't miss the chase. And I mean, just look. I mean, all you have to do is look at last year to see the difference between Eric Jones and his 3 teammates. His 3 teammates all won at least 5 races and made the championship 4, and one of them won the title. Eric Jones won 1 race and was out in the round of 16. And not only was he out in the round of 16, he was out in he went out in the most pathetic way anyone has ever gone out. 3 finishes outside the top 35. Never been done before by a chaser. Eric Jones did it.
Oh, yeah. Are we talking about Eric Jones getting removed from the 20?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. And
Can I add something?
Yeah.
As you know, I am a huge advocate for Christopher Bell because he is the best driver in NASCAR. So I am ecstatic that Eric Jones is getting kicked out. He really done nothing in that 20. Pretty garbage driver, not gonna lie. But have we talked about Bell yet?
No, we haven't gotten to Bell.
Alright, well, we'll save my thoughts for that. But yeah, Eric Jones getting removed out of 20 is very well deserved because, as we will get to in a very short time, we will explain who is taking over his spot. And that's where you want to hear my good reactions at.
I'm back. Sorry,
back.
they're gonna be dogs barking in the background.
Wow, Caleb.
I am here too.
Wow,
All right.
I can't
All right,
believe
so next thing we're gonna do is expectations. Expectations for Christopher Bell. He's now in the mothership. He has the 20. Not only does he have the 20, he now has the guy that won. How many races did Jason Ratcliffe win with the 20? At least 20.
Is it confirmed Ratcliffe's going to the 20?
I mean,
No, not yet.
It's not
But it's
yet
most likely.
confirmed, but Jason Ratcliffe has been following Christopher Bell ever since he got to Xfinity, and I doubt that they wouldn't jump on. And Joe Gibbs would be stupid to let him go.
Chris Gale's not coming back. Let's be for real.
Yeah, no, Chris Gale might honestly be as much at fault for the lack of performance of the 20 as Jones is. But anyway, expectations for Bell in 2021.
Who goes first? Like, what's the order?
I guess
Seth.
Seth.
I usually start.
Who am I
since
after?
My name's
Caleb.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Yeah, when it comes to, as Caleb stated, 2019 breakout season for Toyota. Truex getting 7 wins, Kyle Busch getting 5 in a championship, and then Denny getting 6. And then, so he had 18 wins, and then Eric Jones just piled on 1 more. And that was, and then all 3 of the teammates made Final Four, which is a lot for a person who's in their 4th year. But yeah, honestly, when it came to everything else, I do think letting go of Eric Jones was great. But then we get to Bell. It's his 2nd year. It's his sophomore season. I'm not sure. I mean, Bell was running fine, but now that he's on the JGR mothership, I think he might perform better. I'm thinking maybe playoffs. That's about as good as I can really predict coming into next season, because there are already so many questions and what ifs you could honestly put into a situation. But at this point, I think we should wait and see how the season turns out before making any bold predictions about how Christopher Bell will perform. Caleb?
I'd say playoffs is definitely the expectation, especially with someone like Christopher Bell. A sophomore slump is possible. We've seen that in the past. God dang it. But with the way Bell's been running this year in the 95, getting it up to 20th in points, I believe. Is he 20th in points right now? Or
Yes.
21st, around
Yes,
that
he's
area?
20th in points right now.
Yeah.
He's not teams
If
actually.
he's-
If you don't count Colchester.
Well, he's 20th in points once the playoffs start.
I'm sorry about that, but anyways, if you see how he's been doing in a car like that, that's definitely not a playoff contender, and he's made them look like that they've had a shot at it, and still technically can if he wins Daytona. He definitely makes the playoffs in the 20 next year. But what they've got to do first is something that's been explained in like a video of Eric Estep's, which I know some of you might not like him, but it's a good point that they've really got to restructure that 20 team because, again, like you guys pointed out, Chris Gale's definitely not been the greatest crew chief by any means. If they bring over Jason Ratcliffe, that team can definitely improve. They've got basically everything around them. They've got the sponsorship. They've got the talented driver. They just need to bring Ratcliffe over so they can continue that relationship, continue to build Bell's career, and get better. Now that he'll be in a top ride next season, he'll finally get that opportunity to show off what he's made of. So I'd say he gets to at least the round of 12. Maybe even round of 8 is a possibility, but I expect big things from Bell next season.
Jared, be real with these predictions. We all know you want to say he'll win
Okay. My expectation, 36 wins and a championship, baby. Bell will dominate next season. No, in all honesty, Bell will probably have, realistically, probably anywhere from 10 to 15 wins on task to a championship. That's my expectations. But if you talk about, so if you take my expectations and other people's expectations, which other people's expectations doesn't mean shit because only my opinions mean shit, and my predictions are always a spoiler, not a prediction. Just so you guys know, because I am a time traveler, which I would like to see how Bell gets 37 wins next season because he also wins the Clash. He doesn't win the All-Star race, though. He blows an engine on the last lap when he's leading, and Natalie Decker, surprisingly, who took over the 42 next season, wins. But Bell will be a champion next year, and that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. Tanner?
I think Bell could possibly do some great things in that 20. He's going to, because next year he'll have more experience, and all the racetracks he's been to will help him get a better suit on his driving career. And I feel like he can possibly win a race, I believe. There's some good racetracks that he can easily win. I feel like Atlanta, New Hampshire, and Dover are 3 racetracks I feel like he could win at. And he will definitely make the playoffs because that 20 team is still good. I'd say round of 12 or round of 16 are the best scenarios that he gets eliminated in, but it's not really disappointing, but it'll show that he has potential in that 20 car. And it's still not the same 20 since Tony Stewart left. But if they bring Jason Ratcliffe with him, it's going to be good. But he's brought success to that 20 car once before, and he could possibly bring it back again with Christopher Bell. So I feel like a round of 12 or round of 16 is best for him next season. Zach?
I would say a round of 12 appearance is a good season for Bell, but the sky's the limit with this guy. He could make the championship board next season, honestly. Like, this guy is hyper talented. I think he's adapted a lot better to the 550 horsepower than a lot of people thought he would. I think honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he still made the chase this year and wins Daytona. Like, this guy is really, really good, and I think he's been as good as advertised, and if not for a lot of bad luck, he might be in the middle of this playoff battle instead of like 100-something points back.
But, more like the championship battle.
Okay, Jared. Levine's not that good. But yeah, Bell I think Bell could do big things. You obviously got to temper expectations. I mean, you can't be upset if he gets to the round of 16 and then doesn't go any further. but I think just it's very likely that he will be in the championship. He could be in the championship 4. No, not very likely, but it's possible.
Not 100% likely.
I'd say his ceiling for next season is probably like 3 to 4 wins and a championship 4 appearance.
10 to 15 of championship.
Okay, Jared. Anyway.
What do you think? Wait, before we go on, what do you think Alex Bowen's going to do next year, Zach, man? Come on!
Look who it is.
Alex Bowman next year, I will say Alex Bowman gets 2 to 3 wins and a round of 80.
Yeah,
that's
they'll
fair.
be dominating your.
Sure.
I don't think anyone's really going to dominate 2021.
Yeah, probably Kevin Harvick.
No, Kevin Harvick. I mean, the PEDs can only do so much for you, Kevin.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Kevin Harvick's a cheater. He does everything in my eyes.
Come on, Kylie's right here.
I know. Why
come
do you
on,
think
that's
I'm saying?
rude and sensitive.
I know. Why do you think
I
I'm
feel
saying?
betrayed. So betrayed.
As you noticed, the race was very boring today, so Kevin Harvick won, of course.
I will agree, it was pretty boring.
And yet y'all still watch. Anyway.
I did not watch.
Anyway, we were talking about the move to put Bell in the 20 and kick out Eric Jones. Kylie, how do you think Christopher Bell will do next year?
I hope he does better than this year. My God, has he gotten the top 5? If so, has he gotten at least 2 of them? I hope he gets more next year. You know what? I hope he wins. I hope he gets more wins than Kevin Harvick. You know, gotta start putting plans in place. So I hope he wins.
He was off. 15 times.
Now,
if not 36.
Now, Eric Jones. Where does Eric Jones go next season?
Baker.
Somewhere in the Chevy camp.
I have no idea. I mean, Hendricks had rumors of maybe going down to 3 cars. JTG is kind of full. I mean, maybe they kick out Priest. I guess the only really open spot as of now is Go Fast, and I don't think Eric Jones wants to go there. But, yeah, as of now, I don't think there are any open rides besides the 48.
I don't think he'll get the 48.
Yeah.
JTG is the most logical place to go. And also, he'll be able to retain Chris Gale at best. And I think that duo could possibly do some things there. Nothing spectacular, but at least something. Better than nothing.
Caleb.
I think one thing's for sure. He's gonna be in a Chevy next year. I think that's basically set in stone. There are several places he could go. He could go to Hendrick. He could go to JTG Daugherty Racing. Go to Ganassi. And there's one place I think he's going to go. A few people have said it, but it's not the main place. I think there's a good possibility he goes to Richard Petty Motorsports. I would not be shocked at all to see him in the 43, considering the Bubba situation, him having the offer from Chip Ganassi Racing. I mean, he could also go to Ganassi, too. I wouldn't be shocked if they threw him in, like, a third car supplied by Spire, but I say Richard Petty Motorsports because that's really the best option for him. I'd say it's the way the team has progressed, they can contend. I feel like by next season, they could definitely contend for the playoffs. They don't need Bubba Wallace to be good. They've got that funding. I mean, maybe some sponsors, if Bubba leaves, do go with Bubba. But the team has gotten better. They've gotten a lot more competitive. And Eric Jones isn't a bad driver by any means. The team can definitely contend. They're more of a mid-tier team at this point. And with being close to the top 20 in points, I mean, I don't see why not. Because I don't see Jones getting the 48. Really, at this point, I have no idea who's going to get the 48. or if anybody's going to get the 48. If it just goes, they go down to 3 cars, which is still possible. But I predict at this point just the 43 because that's better than JTG, and maybe Ganassi doesn't have that opening for him because of Bubba. So, in my opinion, that's the best choice for him. Jared?
I think Eric Jones just wanders the rest of his career, pulls a JJ Alley, don't know where he's going to go, and I really don't care, honestly. Probably Rick Will Racing or some shit. He'll pull, who knows, he might get a freaking whatever that team is that Suarez has. What's the name of it?
Gaunt Brothers.
They're gonna screw over Suarez for the 3rd year in a row? If they did that at that point.
I think he'll just go to some small team. Spire, Rick Ware, maybe JD Motorsports and Xfinity. His time in the spotlight's done.
Kylie.
I'm just thinking he goes to Xfinity or he just never comes back to the NASCAR scene. He kind of really dropped off, and we never really saw a lot from him in the first place. I just see him never coming back to Cup. I see him going to Xfinity or Trucks, or just vanishes from complete thin air.
I don't. That might be a good idea. He might go to Truck and become like a Johnny Sauter or a Matt Crafton.
Yeah.
Well,
Crafton
maybe, but Jones is like, he might not be good for JGR standards, but you never know. I don't like to use this analogy because I don't like the guy, but remember Joey Logano, how he really didn't do too much in the 20? I mean, he got 2 wins with them and then goes to Penske, and look at him now. I mean, he's kind of a dick, but I mean, at least he's able to run good and contend for wins and championships. Maybe Jones pulls something like that. It won't be with Penske, but it'll be somewhere else. But he's definitely a Cup driver. That's the thing with Jones. I don't see him going down to a lower series. It's not a bad thought, but he's a Cup driver. He deserves a Cup ride.
He'll go down to K&N because he's that garbage.
He goes to Arkham, becomes Riley Herbst,
God.
just to leave.
Zach.
Wait, is Tanner alive?
I basically went over.
Yeah, 10 already went, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
alright.
My bad.
Hard to say with Jones. I mean, yeah, it's a foregone. I think it's a foregone conclusion he jumps to Chevy. But I don't think he is really a guy that can get the 48 because Jones doesn't really have a lot of sponsorship to his name. And there's really nothing that's like, I mean, his backstory is pretty unique, but other than that, it didn't produce a very good personality or a driver with a lot of insane moments on track. Like, I just don't see Eric Jones as a good fit for the 48 because he doesn't have sponsors and doesn't really attract them that well. I see him I definitely see him more going towards a team like 37 JTG Doherty Racing where sponsorship is not an issue because Kroger will fund all 36 races. Yeah, and I think I'm also wouldn't be shocked if we've seen Jones's last career Cup win. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right, so Corey LaJoie out at the 32. That was pretty expected. I would say. Seth, what are your thoughts on that one?
My thing with Corey LaJoie is he's trying to pull a Matt DiBenedetto. You know, he kind of started from the bottom, and now he's trying to go up to the top. He's taking a chance on himself. But the thing is he's just never gotten a chance to take. He drove for BK Racing in 2017, and then basically was at Go Fast for the remainder of... Wait, 2018?
He joined Go Fast 2019.
2019. Where did he drive?
He was with TriStar, that 72 team that shut down.
as a
Oh
primary.
yeah, yeah, and then he went to the 32, and 2019 was a decent season, and then this 2020 he's actually been doing pretty decent with the Stewart Haas Alliance, but the Stewart Haas Alliance, and I'm glad he's taking a chance on himself, but I honestly just don't see him going anywhere. He just hasn't had any, recent statistics that make any, person want to take a chance on him. And I think that's sad, but I honestly can't really tell you where he'd go. Caleb?
I'd say I was surprised that the announcement came so early. I kind of expected this to be something that would either be announced later on in the season, or that would come via an announcement being made about where LaJoie's going. But, I can't say that I didn't expect this. This is something that has kind of been a crucial part of the silly season. The thing that interests me, though, is that LaJoie pointed out the better opportunities. That really tells us something. That tells us that he has an offer on the table elsewhere. Kind of similar to how Bubba Wallace straight up pointed out that it's Ganassi. Ganassi has an offer for him right there. Maybe he has an offer from them too. Maybe he has the 48 locked up and we don't know yet. It wouldn't be a crazy thought. Look at all the different sponsors he's had this season that he's just pulled out of nowhere. And he also has Schluter Systems with him, so it definitely wouldn't be out of the picture. Who knows? He might even get like the 14 or the 10 next year. There's a lot that could happen, but I think things are now looking up for LaJoie. He's made that 32 look better. Hasn't been the greatest car. Hasn't been as good as we thought it was going to be. But this is really the first year of that SHR alliance, so we haven't been able to see really the most out of it. But I think this is a good thing for both parties. For LaJoie, he probably does have a better ride elsewhere. I still think that it's JTG Daugherty Racing in the 37, but it could be something a lot better, obviously with the options I just pointed out. But then when you throw in Go Fast into the situation, I would expect that they're putting either Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, or Kyle Larson in the 32 next season. Nobody else but one of those three.
Corey LaJoie really is not that talented. I don't get the hype for him. Underperformed crazily in that 32. Who says he has better opportunities somewhere? Maybe if his better opportunities is flipping burgers at McDonald's, I don't know. He's not that good. Has some shitty sponsors. And yeah.
Wow.
Corey LaJoie's not that good. I don't see him going to like Ganassi. Definitely 100% do not see him going to HMS. No way in hell. I know he wrote that letter, but hell, I could write a letter to fucking Rick and say, hey, Rick, give me that 48, man. No. He might, JTG Daugherty's probably. Royal Go, I said 37. Maybe Spire, I don't know. I don't see LaJoie going to a top tier ride. He's not really, unfortunately, not shown any type of potential, really. Has a great personality, maybe, but that doesn't mean crap in this day and age. Look at Kevin Harvick, has the most bland personality in the sport, and has the best ride in NASCAR currently. But yeah, Kylie?
I've said this since the beginning. I see him going to the 48. I always have. I feel like his sponsorship, and they've always, it's always been told that they want someone with more experience in the 48 than one of the newbies, just to help as a guiding hand to the others. So I see him going to the 48. If all else fails, he probably gets 14 because you all say Clint Boyer is retiring. It's either the 14 or the 48 for him. Danner?
I just don't know about Corey. It's all over the place. I hope he can stay in the Cup Series, but I just don't know. I think a logical place is basically in the Chevy camp, like Eric Jones, but it's not a competitive ride. I don't see him getting the 48, even though he wrote a letter. He won't get it. JTG, it's a wild card. Could be him or Jones. Inspire, it'll just be another backmarker away for just to solidify his journeyman career at best. I just don't know about Corey. his future is basically uncertain. I just hope he can find a ride somewhere, but I just don't know if he'll be in the Cup Series next year at this point. It's just all over the place, Zach.
I'd say he's a stronger candidate for the 48 than Jones. Because number one, he does have sponsorship, and I mean number two, his stats in Cup aren't there. But one, neither were Alex Bowman's, and look how well that turned. That turned out pretty darn well, I would say. Two. I mean, LFR took a chance on Matt DiBenedetto, and he got them way ahead of where they ever were. And I mean, so the backmarker experiments so far, I think, have been for the most part working. They've been getting the results at least. Sponsorship might be a different story, unfortunately. Although that's not. Although NBC, will you cover him? Jesus, but. Swear to God, they were showing the battle between Truex and Logano for second, and they were like literally excluding Bowman, who was like 2 car lengths behind Truex the whole time. It was so irritating. They were like shooting it so that you couldn't see Bowman. It was annoying. But anyway, back on topic to Corey LaJoie. He has sponsors, and he has the mix of what Hendrick wanted before and what he wants now. Hendrick is now more open to hiring a younger driver. Well, Corey LaJoie not only is 28, but he has a ton of Cup experience. He's been in the Cup Series for the last 3 or 4 years. So he's offering probably the most Cup experience on the circuit outside of Eric Jones. And unlike Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie has funding behind him, so you don't need to tap Chevy goods for another 31 races. You probably will still need to tap him for, I'd say, 8 or maybe 8 to 10 races, but it's not going to be an Alex Bowman situation where all of his major backers just pull out on him out of nowhere. And
another thing with Hendrick, Rick Hendrick can pull sponsorship out of his ass, so he can put whatever he wants in the 48, to be honest.
True.
I mean, everyone panicked whenever Rose was going to leave. A lot of people panicked from Bowman. When Bowman's sponsorship was nationwide, I was like, the bus be back. Rick can really pull anything. If he wanted frickin' me in the car, who's never raced a day in my life except out in my fucking 2014 Chevy Cruise down the highway, drunker and shit. I could get a ride. He can pull sponsorship out of everywhere. So I see y'all's point about Corey LaJoie maybe going to the 48. I just don't see it personally.
And then, all right. So now for the 32 specifically, that's an SA. I mean, I wouldn't cover that car at all, other than the fact that that's an SHR aligned car. And depending on who eventually gets in that car, we might see a stronger alliance between Go Fast and SHR. So, with that being in mind, who gets the 32?
Bacon.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Honestly, for the 32, I've got no idea. Oh, actually, wait, no, I do have an idea. So, you know how Briscoe, he's been really tearing it up. I think maybe Chase Briscoe will go there. I mean, I believe Clint Boyer will retire, and I believe they'll put Kyle Larson in the 14, because, Tony wants him in real bad. And then I think you'll give Briscoe a bone and throw him into the 32. You can give stable sponsorship to the 32. They can make all the races with, actually decent sponsors. But that's another story. And yeah, that's basically how I see it, Caleb.
There's another driver I didn't point out. I did say that the only ones I see getting the car are Cindric, Briscoe, and Larson. But people also don't think about it. just because Clint Boyer might be out of the 14 doesn't mean he'll be completely out of just because he might be out of the 14 doesn't mean he'd be completely out of NASCAR. Something that could also happen is that he said he wants to retire with SHR. Maybe he could be under contract with SHR next year, but end it out over at Go Fast. Maybe if the car will be a bit better, he can be competitive at least to some extent for one final season. But if I were to give you a definitive answer right now, I'd say it's Chase Briscoe going to the 32. He's got High Point over there. I don't know if he's still got Nutrichomps over there. Maybe Ford Performance will sponsor him for a few races or so, but I think for at least a season, they'll keep him over in that 32 car just to see how he does and then evaluate maybe the performances of like Eric Almirola, or maybe if Kyle Larson isn't as good in the 14, if he were to get that ride. But I'd expect that 32 is going to be Chase Briscoe next year.
So I have a few things on why I'm picking this person. Number one, Briscoe goes to the 14. NASCAR cannot reinstate Kyle Larson yet. I know we shouldn't. I don't really want to get too political, but to give my reason on this, with all the shit going in the world today, to put him in the 14 less than a year after what happened would be NASCAR would be blasted as racist and all that, and that's just something we do not need right now. Point number 2, Matt DiBenedetto, 9 points above the cut line, headed into Daytona. I think he wrecks out early and misses the playoffs. And I think Byron and Johnson both make it in. I think Johnson wins at Daytona next week to make it in. But I think he makes even doesn't think Byron and Johnson does take the last 2 playoff spots. Which make sure to tune in next week to the podcast as we will be revealing who we think will win the Cup Series championship. I'm pretty sure. Is that correct, Zach?
Yes.
Yes. We'll be filling out our playoff bracket next weekend. Make sure you tune in for that. But I think Austin Cindric goes to the 21. And I think Matt DiBenedetto will be in the 32 next season again. I think he goes back to Go Fast.
Wow.
Goes back to Go Fast. It's sponsored with it's together with SH Artists now. And I think they, like you said, they assessed Eric Almirola. He doesn't do that good in 2021. Matt DiBenedetto moves to the 10 in 2022.
Dang. Wow.
Pretty interesting.
Kylie.
I think Briscoe goes to 32. We've seen how good he is in Xfinity. He's gotten 6 wins. We don't want to jump ahead into it. Like, we thought Byron was going to win all these races, and look at him now. He still doesn't have a cup win. So I feel like they would want to test him out in the 32 before they give him a huge ride, and then he just doesn't give the expectations that everyone else wants him to have.
The 32 is a wide open ship, but I feel like Chase Briscoe is going to get it because Tony's like literally on Kyle Larson. He wants him in the SHR system now, and he's going to push for it as much as he can. So I just feel like Briscoe's going to be there. He's going to be the test dummy over there, but he'll show some potential in that 32. And once Eric or whoever's in that 10 and Kyle Larson in 14, they might reevaluate him and possibly put Briscoe in the SHR system once and for all. But right now, I think Briscoe's going to be the driver of the 32 Go Fast Racing Ford next year.
See, to me, it all depends on what they do with Clint Boyer. I mean, if Clint actually goes away after 2020, I mean, if I were a businessman, I would. Clint doesn't really pull. He hasn't really pulled in any sponsors, and I feel like now more than ever, his sponsor lineup is almost completely Haas now. It's almost completely Haas Automation Tools. Like, I've barely seen Rush Truck Centers on the car. I don't think they're I mean, for a team that was so enamored with him that they didn't want to that they wanted him over Cole, for a sponsor that was so enamored with him that they wanted him over Cole Custer, they've sure scaled back. And so so it all depends to me what they do with the 14. If Boyer ends up re-signing for another year, then it's going to be Briscoe. But if Boyer leaves and probably either retires or takes up like a low-level ride somewhere, maybe like the 43 or something. I would assume Briscoe would get the 14, and then maybe either Larson or possibly, I don't even know. Ford doesn't really have a lot of development
Cindric?
drivers. I don't know if Penske would want I mean, I would see Cindric more going to the 6 than the 32.
So,
Honestly.
Oh wow, good point.
Because
We need another big
Cindric
Ford team in
has
Xfinity.
driven for Jack Roush before, but I don't see Penske wanting to let him go to their number one rival, really, at Ford and SHR. Bless you.
Bless you.
So I wouldn't
Bless.
say
But-
Cindric. I would say maybe they like try to steal Gregson or something. I don't know. I'm
feel like
really
we
throwing
need
out
another-
a wild guess. I really have no idea who they would put in the 32 if Boyer leaves.
But yeah, I'm sort of the same. I just see Matt Ditto out there as a wild card because I feel like Briscoe's 100% going to the 14th. I don't think Boyer stays another year. He sort of underperformed a lot. And I don't think Larson can come back. I think it's way too early to bring him back into the fold. But only time will tell, I guess. Only time will tell. I hope Larson don't come back to the fold yet. I'll be sort of upset if he does.
And not only that, but like, yeah, Larson lost a year of competition because of what he did, but it's almost like he got rewarded for it. Like, oh hey, I'm in a crap ride. N-word. Oh, look at me now. I'm in the 14. This is awesome.
And to be fair, he's way better on dirt than asphalt. Very overhyped on asphalt, very overrated. I feel in the NASCAR world, a lot of people say he's going to win a championship year after year after year after year and after year, and he always underperforms. Always out in the round of 12 or the round of 8. Never makes it to the final 4. I just feel like Larson ain't got what it takes to become a top NASCAR driver. Unpopular opinion, I know, but what we have seen out of him for, let's say, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, within those 6 years that he was there full time, he showed no flashes of brilliance hardly. Here and there, he just made stupid rookie mistakes way too much.
All right. So with that, we brought it up earlier. Bubba Wallace confirmed he has received an offer to drive the 42 in Chip Ganassi Racing. All right. So I'm going to ask everyone here: if you're Bubba Wallace, do you take the offer? Start with Seth.
Okay. I mean, the thing is with Bubba Wallace, I mean, I think the 43, it has more significant value, but the 42 is honestly the better ride. Even though Matt Kenseth has honestly sucked this year, I do believe the 42 is really good. Or maybe Kyle Larson was just making it better than it was. I don't know. But I think he should take the 42, take a gamble on himself, get a top-tier ride in NASCAR. You know, like a lot of people are doing on themselves. I feel like he can probably pull it off. Not gonna lie. So yeah, I'd say take it, Caleb.
You know, if the offer's there, take it. It's Ganassi. They're definitely not the best team, not even the best Chevy team in the series, but they're better than RPM. And if he's able to bring over the funding, which obviously he can, he's got all these brand new sponsors. He could easily get an entire season sponsored no matter what team he goes to. He takes it up. I mean, RPM's improving, but they're not going to be a playoff team next year, or at least we don't know if they will be yet. But we've seen that 42 make it to the round of 8 before. We know that 42 car can win. And yes, obviously Larson did make it look a lot better than it is. But Bubba Wallace is also one of the most talented drivers we have in the series right now. And he stays in that Chevy pipeline, and he has all this funding behind him. He'll easily make the playoffs if he gets that 42 car. I say 100% he takes up the offer.
Bubba is the most marketable driver in NASCAR right now. And I know there's going to be a section of the fan base that really gets upset with that. But screw them. Bubba's a talented driver. I think he needs to take that 42 offer. The 42 is a much better rod than the 43. Much more competitive, I feel. Bubba's been pretty competitive in that 43 too this season. But for him to become a superstar, in which he could become a superstar, definitely right now, Bubba could be a superstar if he just has a better ride. He's very marketable right now. Could even pass Chase Elliott as the most popular driver, I think. Just because of all the stupid shit people has done to Bubba the last few months. Bubba deserves better than the 43, I feel, and I really hope he takes up the 42 offer. Kylie?
I say he stays with the 43. With everything that's kind of happened with him getting part with co-owning a little bit of the team and everything, I feel like he's going to stay there and make more of a name for himself. He definitely has shown that he can win. He's just had bad luck in some of the races that he has shown. I feel like in the next year or two, we can see him definitely winning races with the 43. Sure, the 42 seems great and all from what Larson made it look like, but if you've seen Matt Kenseth, you can't just say it's old. I feel like it's more of just they don't give better equipment to the 42. I feel like the 42 is just that off car that they don't really care about and they focus more on the others. Tanner?
It could go either way. Bubba could own Richard Petty Motorsports, or he could finally become a superstar by joining Chip Ganassi. It could go either way. But the main factor, if he goes to Chip Ganassi, that he must have Jerry Baxter, because he has basically helped revitalize Bubba as a legitimate contender with flashes of potential in the Cup Series again. But it's either way, he's marketable. Bubba Wallace has become easily one of the most marketable drivers lately. So it could go either way. I would really like to see him succeed in the 42, but I just don't know. That 42 team's in a full-blown rebuild. Chad Johnson's gone. Matt Kenseth ain't really the good driver. The 42 ain't really that good of equipment anymore. In the 43, it's starting to rebuild itself. The pieces are coming together. If he can at least get the ownership part, he could possibly help his team reach the next level that it's been missing since the late 1980s. But it could go either way. It's up to Bubba where he wants to go at this point.
Yeah, I'm glad that someone else said no, because I'm going to say no. And the main reason I say no is the 42 team's a wreck. Like they are Matt Kenseth, New Hampshire levels of wreck. There is tension behind the scenes between the crew chiefs and Chip himself. It's so bad that Chad Johnston, a race-winning crew chief, who we know is good because he's won races with both Truex and Kyle Larson, he's out. He's out in the middle of a season. And this new guy, Phil Surgeon.
Yes.
He is. The cars he's building are decent, but in both of these races, Matt Kenseth ran around 18th to 22nd. He was non-existent in both Dover races. And it's a track that he's won at multiple times and has been Jimmy Johnson's main competitor at Dover. And the fact that he's running 18th to 22nd at one of his best tracks just leads me to believe that 42 team is just not that good. Yeah. Plus, with all the sponsorship Bubba has, I think he's a player for the 48. So and as we know nothing about what's going on with the 48, so maybe that's why. Because I feel like if Bubba felt like these two were the best offers that he was going to get, he probably would have signed by now with one of them. But the fact that he hasn't yet leads me to believe that he thinks there's an even bigger fish in the pond for him to catch. That bigger fish in the pond being the 48. I mean, Bubba would probably be like, I would, if I were Rick Hendrick, I probably wouldn't because of his issues with Alex Bowman, but but Bubba must feel like he has a chance at the 48 for him to have not made a decision by now, I think.
Who knows? He might just be waiting. He might say, "Oh, I might get an offer from Stuart Haas." Who knows?
Imagine Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace on the same team.
Oh no!
That would be something.
That'd be pretty racist, Sorelli.
That just got thrown into the podcast.
Into the podcast.
Oh my god.
Nick Nelson saying Bowman and Bubba are cool now. I think they are. I think their issues are cooled down too, but you can't. But
It's
but
a
still,
Kyle Busch
they have-
Logano situation. It stays on the track.
Yeah, it's just but it's something that has to be in the back of his mind when he's making these decisions. He doesn't know for sure that they're going to work well together.
True. Only Bubba can control his own future at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and with that, we're gonna do some rapid fire. So everyone, when I'm gonna say a car that's still available in the 2021 free agency, and just in as few words as possible, say what happens to it. All right, so
I don't know, Dad.
Seth, we're gonna start with you. The Hendrick Motorsports 48. What happens to it?
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Wait, actually,
This ain't rapid fire, Bacon.
That was more Kevin's turn.
This is slow fire, Bacon.
Bacon, say something.
The chicken's being
Anything.
cooked.
I say it doesn't come back next season. I say they end it.
All right. So Brandon Allen actually pointed this out one time, and I thought it was interesting. I've also kind of thought the same thing. So the 48 comes back full time next year, but they do kind of. I know it's kind of rapid fire. They do the same thing JRM does in Xfinity with the 8 car, and they have a bunch of drivers circulating around the 48, and then kind of decide what they want to do with it in 22 for the next gen car to come out.
Natalie Decker or I Riot.
Corey LaJoy.
Part-time. With Jimmy Johnson and a bunch of JRM drivers.
How about Jeff Gordon, trainer?
Oh.
You think Gordon could start?
I would love to see that, but Jeff's gone with the win for now. He's happy where he is currently.
I don't understand why so many people are convinced that the 48 is not going to be a full-time car next season. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's obviously it's so clearly coming back full-time. It's so obvious Hendrick wants it to come back full-time. So yes, it comes back full-time, and it has one full-time driver, and that full-time driver, I'm going to say, is Corey LaJoy.
No.
Yes.
All right. Next one. 21 of Wood Brothers Racing.
Matt Benedetto, obviously. I don't think he's going anywhere. If he makes the playoffs, he stays. If he misses the playoffs, he goes. It's kind of how it's going to roll. Caleb?
Matt Benedetto, that's all I'm going to say.
Natalie Decker or I Riot.
The 21 and the 48? Is that what we're doing?
No, I think
That's where he goes.
Austin Cindric takes to 21.
Matty D, because he's shown improvement.
I feel like it's Austin Cindric's ride. If Matt DiBenedetto misses the playoffs, he's gone. Plain and simple.
I say Matt DiBenedetto comes back regardless. I still think they want to see. I mean, I'm sure Penske is very happy with Cindric turning out to be a 5-win driver, but I still think he wants to see him win at a track that isn't Kentucky. That it doesn't drive like Kentucky. Because Kentucky sucks.
Or road course.
Yeah.
Crutch.
I think he wants to see him win at a track like if Austin Cindric had won one of the races at Dover this weekend, I would have said, "Oh yeah, he's going to Cup," because that would prove okay, he is because if he did that, that would prove he's 100% Cup worthy, and he should have won the first Dover race, but that's besides the point. But I think the fact that he didn't win these 2 Dover races means that's probably not going to happen. All right, the 37 of JTG Doherty Racing. Seth, go.
I definitely believe that Corey LaJoie will go there next season.
I say Corey LaJoie, 100%. It brings him into the Hendrick pipeline, and while they have this, basically a bunch of drivers in the 48 next season from JRM and, Jimmy Johnson making starts, him being part of the Hendrick system will be part of the decision-making in what they want to do with him in terms of if he could get the 48 or a Hendrick car in the future. So the 37, he brings sponsorship, perfect ride.
Natalie Decker, all right. Corey LaJoie.
I don't know. I would say Michael Knapp. I'm going to get not. Please answer. So whoever owns. So whoever drives 37 now gets it again.
Ron Priest.
Right, please, yeah.
Priest is going to go to
Don't even know his name.
And Xfinity.
Eric Jones goes 37. He's going to bring Chris Gale with him, and he'll basically have a funded ride.
I agree with that. I say Eric Jones. And it'll prove once and for all that Ricky Stenhouse is a super talented driver, because Ricky Stenhouse will be like 5 positions higher than Eric Jones in points next year.
Yeah, but people will still say, "Oh, Ricky Stenhouse."
Yup. Anyway, the Chip Ganassi Racing 42. Seth.
Oh man.
I definitely believe Bubba Wallace will probably go there next year. I think he's got the sponsorship, but he might go to Chip Ganassi. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, leadership Ganassi. The 42, Bubba Wallace. Yeah, I get it. The Bubba Wallace, he brings in McDonald's, he brings in Columbia, he brings in DoorDash, he brings in Beast. He's got basically everything. He might even bring some sponsors already that were already at RPM over. He definitely gets it. I see the points that you made there, Zach, but I think he'll make them look a lot better.
Bubba Wallace goes to the 42.
Ross Chastain goes to the 42. Yes.
Ew. That.
It's all over the place at this point. I'm just gonna say Ross Chastain, since he's in the Chip Ganassi pipeline.
Big watermelon car.
Yes.
I say Chastain too. He brings the watermelon sponsorship. He'll probably bring Nutrient Ag with him. Yeah, Ross Chastain. I think he's proven his worth. I think in the Xfinity Series, even without a win, he's consistently not really had always the best cars, but he drives the hell out of them on short runs, and that's just. And I think he is overperforming his equipment a little bit, because you see where Justin Haley is in points. It's like Ross. Oh, I just upset Kylie right there. But yeah, Ross Chastain is 4th, and I say Kylie again. Justin Haley, and Justin Haley's 9th. Like, just I think Ross Chastain has just been super, super good. Obviously, he's 3rd and 2nd at Dover, a driver's track, so he has the talent to do well in the Cup Series, I'd say. All right. So I have 2 SHR cars here, but we're going to start with the lowest number, so the 10 car. I'm sure we're all going to get a unanimous answer on this one, but go ahead, Seth.
Eric Almirola, are you insane? I have said enough. Also, 9 straight top 10s. I mean, what? Caleb?
I want you guys to look me in the eyes, and I want you to tell me who I'm going to say is going to be in the goddamn 10 car.
Who's going to be in the 10
Do you think I'm going to say anything different than Eric Almirola? Eric Almirola! Yeah, the Cuban Mitchell's back!
The 10 car will go to Chase Briscoe.
Oh!
Oh, you know
Oh my
what?
God.
You know what?
You know what?
If Midfield scales back, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Briscoe gets the 10.
If Larson somehow is magically back, he goes to the 10, but it's probably going to be Briscoe.
Eric Almirola. He made the playoffs this year, and he's a contender again.
I say Almirola comes back and finishes 20th in points.
Oh, God.
Oh, son of a...
Oh,
Let me guess, 23rd in
fuck
points.
you, Zach. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Hey,
Whoa.
Whoa, that's language.
Oh,
That just got
my.
thrown into the podcast, along with
Yeah, but
Almirola
okay.
back into the 10.
how about we go to the 14 next?
Yeah, that was the next car I was going to go to. So this one I expect to see a lot more varied responses. Seth.
At this point, Kyle Larson, he's on it. Tony wants him back. Tony wants him back real bad. So, baby, come back. I guess baby, come back. Nah. Caleb.
Maybe back there. Kyle Larson.
You know, it really kind of, back to what Jared said, it depends on NASCAR's decision, but honestly, I'm going to say Kyle Larson. Tony's going to do everything in his power to get him in that 14 car, so Kyle Larson is going to be in that 14 car next season.
Hello?
J-Rod?
Yeah.
Jared.
Okay. Oh, yeah. In the 14, surprise, surprise. Coming out of retirement for one more season, Tony Stewart. Hey, I have reasoning on this. I know it's rapid fire, but you're going to hear my reasoning. SRX
What's
is
the reason?
Tony Stewart's going to be in the 14 to promote the SRX a little bit more. That's why he drives the 14 next season for only. He comes out of the season for 1 year. That's it. And then Ron Priest comes up, takes the 14. 1 year.
Wow.
Wait, what?
No, Ryan Priest will be in the 14 in 2022. He is going to
After
SXR
finishing 8th in the Xfinity standings?
No, he's going to do much better. JTG Daugherty is not a good team. He goes to he's going to the 98 next season, or 00, whatever the fuck SHR's number is next season. Stewart comes out, retirement for 1 year. To the 14, bam.
I want you to take the words from the Penguin and not me so I don't get in trouble in the chat. Clint Boyer is coming back. Whether you like it or not, he is coming back.
No,
don't
that's
sue
a
me.
bad penguin. No.
The Penguin is living in the wrong Iceland. But Kyle Larson's coming back to NASCAR. Tony's going to push it so far that he's going to get Kyle Larson in the SHR system. So it's Kyle Larson.
Can I say something? If Tony Stewart does that, I'll lose every bit of respect I've ever had for Tony Stewart.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Tony will no longer be the Lord and Savior.
But that is your god.
No,
That is-
like all joking aside here,
yeah.
Yeah, I get what
they
you're
can't
saying.
do that. They cannot do that because
That's right.
look at what's going on in the world.
That
NASCAR would get tons and tons and tons and tons of backlash. And I'm sorry, if you're a NASCAR fan and you want to see Larson into the 14, you're not a real NASCAR fan because you're just asking for NASCAR to get backlash.
it's
Sorry,
I
but it's true.
I totally understand. It's basically getting rewarded for doing a bad thing. Because he's basically getting to go in a better car now for it.
If that never happened though, Larson definitely would definitely be in the 14 next year. If none of that stuff happened, Larson would be in the 14 next season. But you just cannot bring him back yet. Maybe bring him to the fold in 2022, but you cannot bring him back. That okay? When did he get fired? April, March, something like that. It would be less than 1 year, and that's just not enough time. I don't feel. Not in this. I don't even think 2 years is enough time. They still have people bitching about it, and they have every right to. Like none of us can really even say any of an opinion on that because we're not that audience that he insulted. But as someone that supports that audience, I think it's my right to say that Larson does not deserve to be back in NASCAR next season, and he should not be racing in the World of Outlaws.
World of Outlaws had some other shit going on too. Improper COVID managing, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I say Chase. I say Chase Briscoe to the 14. I think he'll bring a little bit more stability to the 14 than what Clint Boyer was offering. Plus, can we all agree that Johnny Klausmeier is just not a good coach?
He never was.
Hopefully,
I guess.
So hopefully, no, they should totally pair up Chase Briscoe with Greg Zipadelli because that was literally unstoppable in the Xfinity Series. That combo.
Yeah.
That's something that Greg Zipadelli needs to consider. But he probably
if they bring him to the 14, it's a must. I don't see them having any other crew chief there. Klausmeier was better with Almirola, but as soon as they paired him with Boyer for no reason, just...
What about Richard Boswell?
Richard Boswell, I think, is probably the crew chief that's going to end up being on the 14 with Briscoe. But if Stewart really wanted that 14 to be rolling, he would put Zipadelli on the pit box.
But that's something that Zipadelli needs to make up. I just don't see him coming back. He's fully retired at this point.
Yeah. Plus, he's already their competition director, so that would be a lot more than he'd want to do. All right, one final ride.
Hit it.
The 43, Richard Petty Motorsports. Well, a lot of you have already put Bubba in the 42, so I'm curious to see who you put in the 43. So, Seth, go.
At this point in time, I could see Noah Gragson. I mean, he's been decent and, yeah. You obviously know I have no idea. I'm just throwing a random driver in at this point. The 43, I mean, if Bubba doesn't go to the Chip Ganassi and stays with it, fine. But I honestly have no idea who's going to take this car. Maybe Eric Jones. I don't know. Caleb?
I already mentioned it earlier, and I'm still going to stay strong with this. Eric Jones. He'll bring over, was the sponsor, Reesers. He'll bring them with him. And then, obviously, Richard Petty, they have, obviously, Victory Junction, few other sponsors behind him. Maybe McDonald's does stay over on a limited basis, but I think he'll bring enough over there. I mean, Richard Petty Motorsports will retain some sponsors, and that throws Jones into the Chevy camp.
The 43. Really have no idea. So I'm going to start for the most stupidest guess ever. Marco Sambros returns to drive the 43.
Reunion.
The return.
He made Caleb leave.
Richard Petty Motorsports reunion at its finest.
Yes.
More logical answer. Eric Jones, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Bubba stays there. I don't know. 43's up in the air. Maybe Corey LaJoy. Jimmy Johnson. I don't know. Actually, I know who's going to the 43.
I swear to
Decker.
God.
Don't forget, if you remember my predictions earlier this season, Christopher Bale will not be in the 20 this season. Because don't forget, Cowboys will quit NASCAR at the end of the season. Bale goes to the 18. Jones stays in the 20, comes back peekaboo. Kyle Busch decides to come out of retirement in January, and he takes the 43.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, before Jared throws another meme at us, we're gonna go to Kylie.
First of all, Jared, if you wanted a reasonable thing, you should have said Juan Pablo Montoya, but we all know it's going to be Bubba Wallace.
It's Bubba Wallace. Plain and simple. He's going to become the owner of Richard Petty Motorsports and solidify himself as a lifetime driver.
Yeah, I say Bubba too. I think that at this point the 43 is better than the 42, and I think at this point I think he's holding out for the 48, and if that gets filled by someone else, like Corey LaJoy, then he's probably going to stay in the 43. All right. So before we go to Q&A, since we luckily got Jared here, we are going to get Jared's thoughts.
Jared's thoughts today will be brought to you by the Door of Destiny. Remember to check in on to the Amino for anything, for updates on the movie. And Jared's thoughts is going to be pertaining to that movie. And Jared's thoughts is not Jared's thoughts. Jared's thoughts is a spoiler, because I will destroy Zach Stern in the Door of Destiny. Because I am better than Zach Stern. I am better looking than Zach Stern. I get more women than Zach Stern, and I make a hell of a lot more money than Zach Stern. Zach Stern is a ripoff of Michael Annett. Some people say a Dollar General Michael Annett. I don't even think he's that good. I say a Dollar Tree Michael Annett. Zach will perish while I rise to the top in the Door of Destiny.
And I'll back you on that.
That's right.
Woo! We all know Zach's gonna win. Come on. He's the hottest one here, guys.
So we're gonna get a prediction thing going here. Since this is my segment.
Team Zach.
Bacon, who are you representing? Team Zach or Team Jared?
Team Jared all the way.
That's right. Woo! Caleb, Team Jared or Team Zach?
I think it's pretty obvious at this point. The man, the myth, the legend, he has absolutely dominated anything he's entered in. He is the absolute god of racing, the god of motorsports, the god of competition. Jared Holmes is going to win this freaking thing. Let's go!
Kylie Greta.
You were talking
We all
about it that
know.
whole time, then just slap Jared's name on all my accomplishments.
We all know it's going to be Zach. I mean, come on, look at him. He's the best one here. We all know Caleb's jealous because he knows it's true.
Tana, Team Zach, Team Jared, who you repping?
Team Jared all the way. The Messiah will dominate.
Ouch.
Zach, do you have anything to say about yourself, buddy?
We may be
Because we all know you're going to lose.
We may be outnumbered, but we have something that you will never have. Talent.
Ooh.
Are you sure about
I
that?
thought you were going to say a penguin.
You don't need talent when you got the cash and the class.
I mean, who do you have? Tanner, the guy that took 30 races to win a Miss League race?
Okay.
Tanner's the god.
That was a
Vacancy's the
low
god. You know what? Let me hit you with my little prediction. You know how it's the best of 3 series? We're not even going to go to a third race. I'm going to humiliate Zach so bad in 2 races that he's just going to flounder for the rest of his pathetic life because I am, in fact, better than Zach Stern. The 96 is better than the 8, and I will prove it in the duel of destiny. We're going to take, before we go on, we're going to look to the comments. Nate Wines is repping Team Zach. Jones Boy is also repping Team Zach. Anyone else want to place any opinions? Which them are not real opinions, them are fake opinions. Team Zach is Team Loser. Team Jared is Team Winner.
Or so he wants you to think.
Hey Carter, if you're listening, hello, we're promoting your movie, buddy.
We love you, Carter.
Carter's the best.
All of us love you, man.
We
You're doing a great job on the movie.
And only 5 people here. Come on, represent, guys. Come on, we only got 5 people here. Pretty good. 92 subscribers. We need to hit 100.
Oh yeah, and like the stream, guys, too. Like the stream, subscribe if you haven't. Like, honestly, if you haven't done either of those things, what are you doing?
Like the stream, you guys.
Yeah, do what Kylie does.
And punch that subscribe button.
Absolutely, slam that subscribe button.
Also, I would like to officially announce one thing. I'm not for sure when the movie's filming yet. Carter said he'll announce at a later date. 1 week before the movie premieres, live on the NASCAR Amino podcast, a debate between me and Zach will take place live on the NASCAR Amino podcast.
Yeah, we all know.
You down for that, Zach?
Oh yeah.
A little. But just know, guys, when me and Zach shit talk each other, we're good friends. It's all for the movie, all in good fun. Gotta hype up the movie somehow.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You guys should do a rap battle.
Definitely.
Oh, yes. 1 week before the movie premieres, we will be having a press conference, a podcast with me and Zach, button heads, destroying each other on this mic. Don't know, we'll probably talk a little NASCAR, but we'll probably focus mostly on the movie that time. And also the week or the night or the next Sunday after the movie airs, we will also be having a post briefing of the entire movie. We'll go behind the scenes, discuss some shit. We'll get some thoughts. We might try to bring on maybe a guest. Who knows? We'll see. Or I might call one of y'all doing like an Amino VC and get some people's opinions on what they thought of the movie. So make sure to stay tuned to the NASCAR Amino for any updates on the movie. Should be coming out very soon. Curtis put a lot of hard work into this, as we all have.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable.
We're almost done with it. I think he said we're on scene 12. There's give or take. So it's coming very soon. Get hyped for it. And yeah. Zach, what do you have to say on the movie? Like, out of character.
I'm pretty excited for this movie. It's Carter's put a lot of work into it. I don't remember exactly when it is, but I will be reacting to scene 1 because I've seen scene 1 of the movie, so that was pretty cool. It's gonna be worth it. You're gonna enjoy watching pretty much every second of this movie.
And I think I might be the only one besides Carter that knows the actual release date of the movie, but I'm not telling anyone yet. Carter will be revealing that information very soon. So yeah, we're pretty hyped for the movie. We've all put a lot of hard effort into it, so make sure when it's here, you come show your love, stop by, support the movie. By far the biggest project any one of us has ever done on the Amino. Just a lot of time putting this movie, especially by Carter. I think he said he's spent almost 80 hours editing and shit all together. Nate, Nate said, "Hey Jared, Q&A time. When is it being released?" Carter will reveal that information whenever he feels like revealing the information.
Yep, that's a Carter question.
normally we do a Q&A for these, but it's already pretty late. We're working on almost 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
I think everyone wants to go to bed at this point, so I think this would be a pretty good time to end the
Pretty good way to
podcast.
end.
And I've
Pretty
got
good way
school
to end it
tomorrow.
too.
Less than 12 hours. So,
Yeah,
pretty
let's
good.
send
yeah.
Caleb all the luck because he has school in the morning.
Yeah,
Good luck.
yeah,
You
Caleb.
start
go to
that
bed
early.
Yeah,
You start
thanks,
grade.
guys.
You start
This is
10th
where
grade,
the-
don't you?
This is my junior year.
Junior.
Yeah.
Junior. Can I say a little story before we end this about junior year?
Yeah, I might as well.
Oh boy.
Have this
Oh,
done,
no.
Nelly.
I'm not gonna have the same experience you did. I know that for a fact, Jared, because I know what it's full of.
Junior year was by far my most funnest year in school. It's the most challenges, like work wise, but I had a lot of fun my junior year. Not
Alright.
gonna say specifics on what I'd done that year, but if you know me, you know what I'd done. By far my
We are
most
not
funnest-
gonna throw that into the podcast.
We don't need
by far my
that.
most funnest year,
Not gonna
Caleb.
happen.
Alright.
I mean, junior year is hard. I mean, it is here. The
Hey,
way
I'll be
I
ready
was-
for it. I got all y'all for support, and I thank you all for that.
Yeah, we got you back, dude.
We got you, man.
Good luck to you too, Jones boy. You said that you're starting junior year this year. But the hardest year is junior year, but it's the most funnest. Senior year is the most easiest, laid back. It was also pretty fun. But you'll do good, Caleb. We all got you if you need anything. Same goes for anyone.
Thanks, guys.
If y'all ever need someone to talk to, like just if you're stressed about school, just shoot me a PM, call me on Discord, whatever. I don't care to talk to anyone on here. I'm here if y'all need help with anything. I'll try to help you the best I can. I know I'm not really part of leadership no more, but leadership don't have to help out with in real life stuff. But y'all ever need someone to talk to, just hit me up. Yeah, Dylan, I know. We all talk pretty badly about Eric Jones, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shoot this off to Zach so he can wrap this up.
All right, thank you to everyone for tuning into this episode of the podcast. Thank you to Seth, Caleb, Jared, Kylie, Tanner. Well, wait, no, wait. Let me redo that. I want to do all the epithets again. By the most frustrated Truex fans. Thank you to most frustrated Truex fan Seth. Most aggravated Kyle Busch fan Caleb. Only Christopher Bell fan in existence Jared. Most bored Kevin Harvick fan Kylie. And most nervous William Byron fan Tanner. I am the most angry Alex Bowman fan Zach, and we will see you next time. Peace out.
Fly away.
Bye.